Welcome to Caribbean Millennials.
Welcome to episode 132 of the Caribbean Millennials podcast. This is Anushka here.
Hi, Anushka.
Hi, Anushka.
Who else is here?
I don't know what you're fishing for, but you're tuned into
Guys,
the
I just
smooth.
trying to, add a little,
Yeah.
difference.
So I'll say you're tuned into the smooth sounds of Caribbean Millennials.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
All jazz all the time.
You ever listen to late night radio? And there's these, let's say, like strange. They have another one that they say, I just can't remember what it is. It has been something about like sexy music. When I remember it, I'll let you all know.
I don't know, but like I feel like the guys that host those, like their voices, they just so velvety. Just like.
First of all, I find them fellas put it on that voice, okay?
Can you put it on?
That's not the actual voice.
Can you?
I don't know.
Try.
Why?
Try it for the podcast.
Try it for the podcast. I don't think that's something the podcast wants to hear. I mean,
how was your guys' week?
it was a good week.
As
No
far as
highlights?
weeks go, decent.
Yeah, it was a week.
Damn, guys.
The week weeked,
Okay.
and now we're on the weekending.
As we always do.
I had a great week. I was making some corporate boss bitch moves, after my
What? That is the first time I've heard that one.
really?
Corporate.
She was making
corporate
she was
boss
making-
bitch moves. That's just
she
a
was
combo I've
making
never
corporate
heard.
boss bitch moves.
I just never heard that together. Like
Yeah, we exist.
But I will let her. Give the rundown there because that wasn't with.
I made some corporate
Uh-huh.
boss bitch moves, but it wasn't without having weeks, if not months, of getting in my own way.
Okay.
My loving,
Let me hear this.
phenomenal
wow.
husband
Yes, yeah.
and support system
Wait.
and the greatest life partner I could have ever asked for.
A lot of adjectives being used right now.
Have
I
been
can hear that.
supporting and pushing me to make these corporate boss bitch moves. And I was doubting myself, but he saw the greatness in me.
Okay.
And then, I saw it in myself and I said, you know what? Fuck it.
Okay.
And I felt better for doing it. So we'll see how that goes. Can't give you guys the details, but
When she was done making her moves, she came out of her. She's like, "Oh my god!" Like it went amazing. It went so well. I sit there and I watch it. I'm like, "Yo, if I could throw something behind you right now, because how many weeks I tell you need to do this?" But whatever, everybody in their own time. Sometimes I just wish it wasn't.
But you know what? For the
you know?
people, sometimes you need to acknowledge when you are getting in your own way.
True, very true.
And you need people around you to help show you when you're getting in your own way.
Yeah,
Because when you in your own way like that, you're making all kinds of like excuses instead of like holding the mirror up and
Yeah.
being like, oh well,
Well, I think also you need people who are not yes men. Because a yes man will sit there and will listen to all the excuses you give as to why you cannot do something and agree with you. Like, yeah, you're right and whatever. Instead of
Oh, I
challenging
understand, I
you.
understand.
Yeah, instead of challenging you to try and push you to, make that move.
I think like while I was prepping to do what I did, I felt uncomfortable, like in my stomach. Like, how when you have to go and speak at a conference or, like on a stage in front of people and you have like that kind of jitters a little
Yeah.
bit. I had something like that, but it felt good to have that because it's been a long time since I've done something like that
got
would
get that kind of
challenge
feeling.
me, that
Yeah.
because it wasn't like maybe I was a little scared or a little afraid or a little anxious, but it was like a good thing to feel that way.
Okay.
There was something I saw online that was something about like you feel scared but you are brave or something like that,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's like scared is just, the feeling, but the action is,
Yeah.
being brave. And it was an eye opener that maybe I haven't been challenging myself as much because I haven't been feeling those kinds of feelings,
Okay.
And then y'all know it's me. Y'all know I'm out here living my best life, going to the pool, reading books, going to kite festivals, out here in the streets.
Right. You know, watching people
We
fly
watch a
kites instead of
movie.
flying your own kite.
What?
Watching people fly kites instead of flying your own.
Well, it was recon for me to observe so that I could go out and fly my own with some research, and observation underneath my belt.
But yeah, this week was a good week, man. I mean, Adani, you'd say it was a good week. You had a short week, right, Adani?
Yeah, we had a 4-day
had a
week.
holiday.
Yeah,
4-day
you had a
week.
nice 4 day. Oh boy, that's your. If
Though
it could be like that every week, right?
4-day weekends are better, but it is what it is. I'll take a 3-day weekend when I can.
Yeah.
But it
we
was
also
decent.
went and watched a movie, and even just watching the movie and seeing all the trailers, I was like, damn, movies are back.
Yeah. Yeah, we also watched Doctor Strange. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Adani.
No, and don't even go any further.
No.
All right.
Not going to spoil it. Not at all.
What kind
Not at
of
all. I was actually going to ask in the group if anybody had seen it yet, just to get an idea of who's seen it, who hasn't before. So I can get ideas of when we can talk
who's seen
about
it twice by now.
Oh no, probably 4 times by now. But yeah, I just check in. I mean, because I saw y'all were asking about it in the group and about going to see it, but I never saw y'all settled on a time and date.
I think Tuesday is the day.
Oh, Tuesday? Okay, well, all right. I'll check back in with you then, for your take on it.
At least that's the day I plan on going. So
if y'all are listening to this, that's your chance to see Adani, meet him live and direct in person.
And then the cinema is filled with people now. Thanks.
Because everybody out there looking for you.
God
You
damn
better
it.
carry your pen. You might have mad autographs to give.
I'm only signing titties.
Wait, left or right?
Center.
Split it down the middle.
Yep. Moto's last good song. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Wow.
No. So here's the thing. Adani, you said that, and I instantly flashed back to a couple of weeks ago. I saw a lady, I don't know if she's Trini or she made a Instagram post and basically saying about, Moto keep making the same song over and over and over. And like she's so fed up. So apparently other people share that same sentiment as you.
Yeah, over the last couple of weeks since the debut of Chicken and Rice, that has been the consensus.
And you know what? I'm not saying anything. I am not one to speak on soca matters. That's not my.
That's not your lane.
That's not my lane. So let me not. It was a vibes cartel kind of thing. Then I can see something there, but yeah. Guys, so this week I saw something. I saw a couple people on my Twitter and maybe even on my Instagram post something, and I laughed. And the reason why I laughed is because it was very clear to me, but also a bit scary that we live in a world where people don't do any research and they just post everything uninformed. So what I'm talking about is
I know where this is going.
I remember last month, somewhere around my birthday, I read an article, and basically they were saying that Netflix is Netflix is toying with the idea of adding commercials to Netflix. And what they're saying they're going to do is basically they add a lower price tier but that tier will have commercials. And the reason they're doing that is to avoid having to keep raising the price, and so it can cover the costs and whatnot. So that was last month around my birthday. I read that. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting and whatnot. Fast forward to Thursday, maybe Thursday. I started seeing a bunch of people posting about, if Netflix add put in commercials, I'm leaving. I'm leaving if they put in commercials. They added commercials, bye.
They're not even paying for Netflix.
But so my first thought was, some of you are not paying for Netflix. But secondly, clearly y'all did not read the article. Because if you read the article, you would have understood that they adding a new tier, a lower tier, and that's the only tier that'll have commercials. None of the current tiers will have commercials. So what's your thought? Give me your, not on the Netflix adding commercial, just on the fact that we have people out here, once again, not gathering all the information and just
So personally, I don't know how many listeners here have this experience, but growing up in the Caribbean, we had an exam called Common Entrance, which was used to enter secondary school or high school, right? And one of the first portions of the English exam was the main idea, right?
But I know a lot of people who feel main idea.
All right. So if you don't know, the main idea portion, they give you a 1 page or half a page,
a paragraph,
to read. And they asked you to summarize the
in
main
one line
idea into one sentence.
Yeah.
I was, yes, a child, whatever, but there were so many people who struggled with main idea. And I also feel like as adults, there are even more people who struggle.
I suspect the ones who struggle as adults, they probably struggle with it as children.
Right.
So carry on with them through life.
But where am I going with this, right? One, I think one of the reasons why people struggle with main idea is because they did not, it's an exercise in reading comprehension.
Yeah.
Right? They either not reading the whole thing or they not comprehending, right? Or both, right?
I think it's both.
The other thing is, in our society these days, we've been having the quote unquote, or it's sold that the quote unquote main idea is being sold to us through the timelines. So people are not reading because they believe the headline is a reflection of the main idea.
You'll ever see these articles that have read the like whatever, find out what these whatever people have to say about something, and then you read the whole article. It had nothing to do with what
or even it's just these sensationalist, titles, and it's the substance and whatever does not match, and then also it's just giving people something to grab on versus having them do the critical thinking themselves. So I know that was a lot, but that's my That's my.
I see. That's a good breakdown on what's going on there. Danny, what's your view on it?
I'm not surprised. If there is anything that will be certain until the end of time, people will jump to conclusions and misunderstand things and not read, and still sometimes read and not understand things because they just browse through or they don't know how to read properly. So,
but that doesn't scare
the
you.
other thing is they don't want to read or educate themselves about it, but they want to talk and fight and argue about it, right? It's okay to say, I have nothing to say on the matter, or I don't know enough to contribute.
But enough people don't do that. Enough people.
You're saying exactly what I was saying a couple months ago. You don't remember the time I was saying sometimes people just need to know it's okay to shut up. You don't have to have an opinion on everything, and it's okay if you don't have an opinion on something.
Yeah, or it's
okay to say I don't know.
Yeah, to say I need to read up on this some more before I give an opinion.
Or sometimes it's okay to just say I don't know and I don't care enough to want to find out.
Yep,
it's okay. You don't have to be an expert on everything.
Bingo. But people gonna people, so potatoes gonna potatoes. What you gonna do?
So I have a small prompt for discussion. I don't know how long this will be,
Okay.
You're
but
prompting us. Okay.
To
Okay, command
discuss.
prompt. Go ahead, go
Right?
ahead.
hello world. But
Right.
You'll be here all week.
I hope not. Take care you get tackled like Dave Chappelle.
oh god.
Oh boy, they bend me like a pretzel. Like,
Wow.
Here's my
no.
thing. Here's my thing. How did the guy get in with a gun and a knife though? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Clearly, somebody let me in
It's an
because
inside job.
you're not passing like you're not
Right?
entering these things like that unless it
When
was set up or you got help.
the whole Capitol riots happen and you
That's
asking how
true.
one man
You have a
gets
point.
in
You have a
somewhere.
point there.
But that's different.
Have
That's
a
the
point.
government. I believe.
Even worse.
I believe either somebody was working with it or somebody just let me like they just let me pass. Like just somebody just was like, yo, I know mate, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
They didn't search it. But my thing is, I remember, I'm not sure if it was with you guys, but I remember some of us were talking about like if that were to happen to a comedian, what would
Yes.
happen? And like we saw after what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, and we saw the
Yep.
very real consequences when the wrong person tries to hit the wrong person.
Exactly. Because you saw that guy instantly get tackled.
Oh yeah,
They stomp him out.
mud storm. It was like a beat down. Now
Oy,
I can
they jump him into
tell.
a gang
I can tell me didn't think that through
at
because
all.
not only did he miss Dave Chappelle, like he didn't tackle him properly. Like Dave Chappelle was able to like slip out, and then he
But
fell.
that's why I think I was like, yo, that man need to train. Like that's
Exactly,
your tackle week. You could
exactly.
on Dave Chappelle? Really?
And then, like the whole security football team was on stage to just like render down the beatdown of a century. Like
It was the quickness.
I
with
could
which they
see
came out
him
of
getting
nowhere.
stomped in the back. I just like, like it was like something out of cartoons. Like when there's just a whole bunch of arms, limbs, and legs coming out of like a dust cloud.
Yo,
Like
yes.
yeah.
Exactly. Like,
and then to see him
that's
on the
perfect explanation.
on the gurney at the end with like his hand backwards. Like I thought
Yes.
they had reversed his head like all the way around. Like
I
it looks
thought
so
so
unnatural.
So since that has happened, apparently he's being charged. The guy is being charged.
Of course,
They're
assault.
not pressing any charges against Dave Chappelle, rightfully so. I mean,
He did nothing. He was a victim.
His security were doing the job. They were securing him.
Yeah.
So yeah. So but then I didn't mean to stay away from your thing,
No,
Anushka,
I
but
haven't
I
even
saw
started. It's good.
but I saw some people raising a point. They are asking a question in that, do you think the whole Will Smith walking on stage and slapping Chris Rock is what has sparked this, and will we see more of this in terms of people rushing stages and going after comedians?
I think
and
that's a
whatnot?
reach. I think that's a reach.
Right?
Yeah, I think
that's how
a reach.
I feel.
Because people were going on stage and doing that before Will Smith and Chris
Before.
Rock. Yeah, I mean,
Fellas
I
were
don't know
running
who.
across football fields
Exactly.
before Chris Rock and say the other woman at a
Exactly.
basketball game who try and
I don't know where people like get the amount of
Adani,
length in
they
their arms
trying
to
connect the dots.
reach so far. I don't know how. Like elastic people over
The
here.
dot connectors. They
But
always try to
come on.
connect dots.
I mean, I remember all the World Cups we used to watch. There is always that one person that rushes onto the field, tries to tackle a
Exactly.
football player. Like that's not the first time it's happened. Come on, folks.
Wouldn't be the last.
Yeah, I mean, I
Just
don't know
like
how
this
much
time someone got stomped out.
Yeah, exactly. And people will get stomped out in the future because everybody's
Yeah, I
security
think
team
we're going to see more
going to be
stomping
on
out there.
high alert. Now,
Yeah.
it used to be back in the day, people would rush onto the stage to hug or to high five or to take a picture
Right?
with their star. Now we're seeing this more malicious kind of side of things. But rest assured,
Yeah.
if you go after the wrong person, you will get curb stomped. they will
It is
break
a
your
thing.
arm, they will twist your arm and your neck
Yeah.
and your shoulders,
They will
and
have
they'll
you like
break
a
every
pretzel.
bone. Yeah, they bend you into a pretzel, and then you'll
Yeah.
still have to deal with the legal ramifications of what you tried to do.
Afterwards.
Yeah, so
True,
don't do it.
true.
Right? Go on Twitter, rant about the person, whatever. Don't risk your life to try and tackle a star, and then you get curb stomped. Not a good look. Now your face
Honestly,
all over the internet in shock.
I think that man did that for fame.
Well,
Yeah, because then it was because apparently he's a rapper,
Oh.
and they saying he had 2 or 3 tracks about Dave Chappelle. So I think this man did that for some kind of fame, some notoriety. That's what it is.
well, he got his 15
then-
minutes.
That's my mixtape.
Yeah, right. That's why
But then, why did he have the gun and the knife?
That's what I do understand.
Yeah,
To make
so if
him,
you don't
to
add
give
up,
him his street cred.
yeah,
It might be right, and it might be getting street cred. I don't know. It's one of those crazy things where it's like, boy, what are people willing to do?
Mhm.
The lengths they're willing to.
I mean,
go
he's
to
very
get
lucky he
some
walked out of
some
there.
notoriety.
You said that, and I was just singing, they do anything for clout.
They really do.
He's very
They
lucky he
really
walked
do.
out of there. So
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that could have ended a lot worse.
catastrophically. Yeah,
In all honesty, Yeah.
like he's very, very lucky to walk out of there.
I don't think people. I don't know. I lie because I was going to say I don't think people think these things through, but in all honesty, I think they do think it through. They think it through to the very end, and some of them just say "fuck it" to the consequences. It's like they're thinking it through, and it's like the conscience is like, "But what if this happens?" And then they just go "fuck it." And for me, it's like, are we in a society now? People just saying "fuck it" for everything now, I say, and that's where we at.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's
But
a spectrum, right?
just like you can see it, other people can see it too. So
Yeah, exactly.
You're exactly right.
You saying fuck it and then look at that. Now you getting stomped out. You did like you in a Looney Tunes cartoon, a cloud of smoke, and you just seeing feet
Or
coming at
you're
you.
like a cockroach in a room somewhere.
yeah, that's
So talk to us. Hit us with your prompt.
yes.
All right, folks.
Prompt us.
So,
Prompt us.
if you are not aware, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and 21% of the U.S. adult population lives with mental illness, with about 18% experiencing anxiety disorders. And even when it comes to anxiety disorders, they're highly treatable, but only 37% roughly of those suffering actually receive treatment.
So wait, that's US numbers?
That's US figures, yeah.
I wish we had these figures for the Caribbean.
Right. And I feel like if that's the US, you could only imagine like what the Caribbean
here's
would
the
be,
thing.
and so many people with anxiety disorders that aren't even diagnosed.
So that's
or-
what I was about to say, because it's a big thing of ours in the Caribbean where somebody may have anxiety or something and we just put it like, oh, that person crazy or whatever, that kind of
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, I actually have a family member. They, that we were talking about dementia, right? And we were saying that there might be dementia running on a side of our family, but we don't even know because people in the previous generations, they were just like, oh, she just old and she gone crazy, we put her in a home. Right? And that there were multiple people they did that for, but it could have literally been dementia, early onset dementia, and these kinds of things. So, one of the things I wanted to attach to this was I saw another article, and I'm gonna read some excerpts of it for you guys, right?
Okay.
This is an article from Refinery 29, and here I go. People have been describing thoughts, images, and ideas as, quote, living in their head rent-free for years now. The phrase became shorthand for the unprompted or uninvited trivia your brain stores, like the TikTok songs constantly playing in the background of your thoughts, or the fact that you can recall your first crutch's home phone number, but not what you had for lunch yesterday. So the phrase articulates that we're always passively absorbing and retaining some kind of information, right? Y'all would
Yeah.
agree with that,
Yeah.
right? There's just so much we're like consuming passively and not even realizing. So there's endless things living in our head rent free that we don't even realize.
So you said that, and I randomly stopped and thought. There's some random phone numbers I just remember for some reason,
Mhm.
and it's like, why do I remember that? Like I haven't dialed that number in over a decade,
Decades, yeah.
but I remember that number. But go on.
Yeah. So um so this can make it feel like your mind is a cluttered, crowded place full of images, objects, and ideas you did not choose to bring in there in the first place.
Okay.
So someone has come up with the concept of quote unquote mind gardening. I will repeat. Someone has come up with the concept of mind gardening, where it takes the idea of gardening, which is planting, cultivating, nurturing, and pruning, and applies it to the web of thoughts that cloud your brain.
Okay.
Are you all ready for me to continue, or you want to pause on that?
Here's the thing. I don't think I get the concept, but when you're talking about the part of like pruning, when I hear pruning, I'm talking like you
Taking out weeds.
taking out weeds, removing stuff,
Yeah, getting rid of the dead.
and I don't think it's as easy as people making it seem.
It's not easy,
I don't
but it
think-
can be done.
I don't think you ever really forget.
It's not so much about forgetting, but it's like.
But if you tell me you're removing something from my mind, that means I have to forget it,
But
right?
it may not be in the forefront. You can reduce it, but maybe it's not eliminated. The weeds always come back up, right? But you can reduce the appearance and prevalence of them in your mind.
Okay.
But,
I'll save my
let
comments
me
for the
finish
end.
and then.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not just that the mind gardening sweeps out the cobwebs. It's a whole new way to think about knowledge, creativity, and how we learn. Instead of passively absorbing random pieces of information while scrolling online, you can make your mind a place that you've cultivated based on what you're actually interested in. It goes on to say it's a proactive way. Okay, it's a proactive way of cultivating knowledge, ideas, and thinking in general. It's very different from passive consumption. It's like proactive creation. Instead of passively reading content, when you're mind gardening, you come across an idea or thought which you treat like a seed. You plant it by making a note of it either physically or digitally. The cultivation comes in when you look for connections between your thoughts or seeds. As they grow, they branch out and form unexpected connections. This is then harvested as new thoughts, new ideas, new content, or just a great conversation with friends.
So then I've been mind gardening all my life then.
You might have been, yeah.
And here's the reason why I say that, because I think I get what they're saying, and my whole issue with people and the whole passive consumption of thing, like you saying you have weeds and these random thoughts. And yes, they're random thoughts, but part of it is because of the way you consume content.
Right. So one of the things they talk about is doom scrolling would be like the opposite of
exactly, because you're just scrolling aimlessly. You have no purpose.
You're not picking what seeds you want to plant in
so
your
that's
garden.
my thing.
You're just allowing anything to come in.
So if you know what you need to do is cleanse your timeline and only have what you want to see or what you're interested in on your timeline.
Well, or even when you're going there, like, are you going? We spoke about this before, but
are you going for goal
of why am I?
Or are you just scrolling aimlessly? Yeah. So wow. So basically,
like
all they
even
do.
The other day,
hold on. So all they do is basically take mindfulness and give it another name?
Well, it's not yes and no, but it's like putting a different kind of application or explanation around it.
They take mindfulness and they gave it another name.
It's applying mindfulness through a tangible tactic.
They take mindfulness and they gave it another name.
However you want to say it.
Because that's basically being mindful. Being mindful
is being mindful.
Is being mindful.
Core.
Yeah,
At its core,
it's being mindful. They gave it another name.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this brings up a conversation I had with you earlier this week.
Yes.
About my issue with TikTok. In that TikTok comes and shows you new ways to do stuff, like how you showed me today, cut a cake. How to cut the cake a different way.
You see, that's why I like Kwame. That's why I like Kwame. That's why I like Kwame, because the man whole thing is this is how it's done. This is the simpler way. That's why I like Kwame.
Right? Yeah. Exactly, and that's my problem. Not because there's a different way to do it means that it's the right way.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did we need a new way to cut cake? Please, somebody explain to me who asked for this.
They claim that it will be a more even slice. If you want more frosting, you can pick a piece on the end. If you want more,
it will never be an even slice. You cannot have an even slice in cutting cake unless you cut it from a machine. Okay, you cut it by hand. The slices will never be even. Let's get that out of the way, off the bat. You see, that's my issue.
So, Bernard, you don't want to try it for my birthday?
Let me tell you something. Cut a cake. Anyway, you know what? No, I let my mother and my father handle you on that one. I don't even have to work for that one. I like the whole mindfulness analogy thing. Okay.
But it might be a way to it attach instead of just a broad statement of mindfulness.
No, I'm looking past the mindfulness thing. I'm looking past all of that. I'm saying I think it's a good idea. It's something I have been saying for a while. I think people need to really be mindful of what content they are consuming and start to fill your timelines. And here's the thing. Hold on. Here's the thing. People always say, "Oh, the algorithm." Dog, do you know the algorithm can be controlled? It's not just an aimless thing. It's trained. It's trained on what you're searching for. So if you want to stop seeing certain things, start searching for what you want to see. I was telling, was it you? I said you or Popo. I said somebody that I had something happen to me in January. For the whole of last year, from about May going on, my explore page on Instagram had been nothing but food, cars, and tennis. Okay? I'd go to my explore page, I'd see some people playing tennis, and not just regular tennis, tennis, pickleball, any kind of thing, including a racket and a ball, it was there. I would see that. I'd see people trying different recipes for barbecuing and these kind of things. I'd see car things. And then one day, I don't know what I did, I'm convinced maybe I liked a picture by accident on the timeline. I liked one of those 30 pictures, and my explore page became nothing but breast and ass.
You open the floodgates.
And you can ask Popo, because for the next month, I was in hell. I was actively searching food and car pictures to try and fix my explore page.
He just wanted to return to his
and no matter what I did, it wouldn't change. And then randomly one day I woke up and it was back to what I wanted. Mm-hmm. So when people say, "Oh, the algorithm," yeah, I get there's an algorithm and it feeds you things, but you can control what it feeds you.
Yeah. And I think I wanted to bring up that whole mind gardening concept in relation to mental health, because it's like an active choice, right? And it's about being intentional, right? Like, we've all had those experiences where our mental health took a dip, and I
have to check my explore page just to make sure it's still full on cars, because
and you try to get back out, but one of the ways to get back out, or the main way to get back out, is through being mindful, right? And even just sitting with your emotions, why do I feel this way? What happens to trigger me?
And that's the next thing I was going to say. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes a lot of the stuff you consume, the things you see on your timeline, social media, and these things, it affects your mood. Sometimes
Absolutely.
that's what that bringing you down and having you feel gloomy and maybe even a little depressed because you've seen all this depressed shit on your timeline. And I know the world is not all rainbows and butterflies and whatnot, but I think if this is something that you have control of, what you see, maybe you should try and control to make sure you only see things that bring you some joy.
Danny, you have any thoughts around it?
You are in control of your journey. Control it.
Sorry,
like that.
With that voice, I just pictured him outside raking his garden. You know.
No, but I like it. He said right, you're in control of your journey.
So I wanted also to tap into another, maybe semi-controversial, like, or maybe not, I don't know, part that is attached to mental health. And it's like faith and religion and spirituality.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes, or for some people, one of the things that like helps them out of, dark times or whatever is being in touch with, like their faith or higher power, or, finding some solace, inspiration, whatever, right?
Yeah.
In that. But one of my thoughts is we've seen kind of like a move maybe from like religion to
Okay.
spirituality, like maybe how religion and even like going to church and stuff like that's like changing a lot, like
Go on, explain. I'm listening.
as so like for you, right, for instance, right, like you don't go to church really, right, but like you were raising a foundation of going to church, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make you any less spiritual, faith based, like that kind of thing. But there's some people who are maybe like disconnected from it completely,
Okay.
or some people that are like following like the new age spirituality stuff.
So you said it, and that's what my question. What is the new age spirituality you're talking about? That's what I want to know first of all. Give me an explanation.
Some people will maybe say, oh, I'm laughing because I think people associate me as this way, but it's like, oh, I'm just going to trust the universe.
Oh God. Okay. I know what you're talking about then. I know exactly
But
what
like,
you're talking about.
is faith
Why are you bringing up all the things that bother me about the world right now?
Oh, okay.
That you bring up all the things that just
Maybe because you put them in my algorithm.
you bring it up. Okay. Whew.
But here's my thing, right? I believe there is a place for stuff about the universe and connection and whatever.
I do believe there is stuff for that.
But it's the same thing that we were saying in the beginning of the conversation about doing your research and not just picking up something because it's quote unquote cool and that's what people do in these
You
days.
saw the video. I sent you the video of a group of people, some guys and some girls. And the girl saying, I believe in zodiac signs and whatnot.
Yes.
And the guy was like, oh my God, not this shit again. And then he asked her about, okay, so in what sign do you think I am? And she's like, oh, well, you give me Taurus. And he's like, yes, I'm a. He's like, oh my God, really you are? He's like, no, I'm not. I'm a whatever.
Yeah. Now, for me, I do believe in astrology, but I am deep down the rabbit hole as compared to the average person. And I feel like astrology has like had a resurgence of being cool, and now everyone.
Here's my thing. I have no problem in people believing in those things. I do not. And you all should know this from day one. I've never had an issue with that. My issue has always been if people using those things as an excuse for their bad behavior.
Or any behavior.
It's like we watch.
It doesn't have to be bad behavior.
Yes.
Any behavior.
But it's like we watched that show the other day, or you're watching that reunion for that show when the girl said, oh, I just had to do me. I just had to do me. And it's like, it's okay to do you, but you don't have to do you I'd be disrespectful at the expense of being respectful to somebody else. So it's like, it's okay to believe in those things, but I do not think people should put all their eggs in that. Like, don't put all your faith, don't put all that stock into something, because those things, it doesn't always work out. If you really believe in the universe that much, then you will know the universe will do what the universe wants.
The thing I was wondering is, do you feel like having less of a faith base in anything affects people's mental health?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
And let me tell you why. Having I can't say let me tell you why, because that's not the exact reason, but my belief is that people having something to believe in, be it God, be it the universe, Yahweh, Gaia, whatever, it gives you something for you to, how do I word it? I don't want to say blame, but something as a cause for what is going on in your life. When you don't have something to say, like, hey,
center
around. When you don't have something to say, like, hey, that's this person's plan, that's the universe's plan, that's what God have planned for me, kind of thing. It kind of leaves you, I guess, not questioning. How do I want to word it? It's like you don't have those things, so you kind of just adrift, and it can hurt your mood, because then you keep wondering, why is this happening to me? You start asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Why is this never working out for me? These kind of things. Versus when people have that kind of faith or these things they believe in, when those things happen, they may say, oh, why that happened to me? But they may also say, well, maybe that's God's plan. Or maybe that's the universe. That's what the universe have planned for me. Maybe the universe have bigger plan for me. That's not for me. That kind of thing. You check what I'm saying?
Now, in the same vein, it's also an interesting relationship, because people going through mental health stuff, right? People have told them, or just pray about it. Oh, God will take care of you.
So,
oh, don't
so that's my. I think people struggle with striking a balance. It's always an extreme with these things. It's either I don't believe, or I believe so much that if I do this, if I just leave it to him, it'll happen.
Or like, why are you depressed? Or
it's like
God,
it's like me saying, oh God, I want to win the lotto, but I never buy the lotto ticket. How I expect to win the lotto if I never buy the lotto ticket? For all I know, God have give me the numbers, but I go in and play it. So when you're telling somebody, oh, what you depressed about, just pray about it. Like, yes, pray about it, but also go seek help with a professional. Talk to somebody, you know? Maybe you go in and talk to somebody is what God wants you to do. We need to learn to strike a balance. It don't have to be an extreme of I do believe, or I hardcore believe, I'm a religious zealot.
Like, if you just throw some holy water on that,
it go solve it. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. At least I don't think. At least I think it doesn't.
As someone with mental health stuff myself, right? Mental health stuff is hard work, right? Like, therapy is hard, right? Like, there's nothing easy about therapy, right? Like, what happened, Vinan?
No, I'm listening.
Even just like going to the doctor and admitting like things are not okay, like, it's hard, right? And like the process of like change or whatever.
So let me ask you a question. We're on this topic now, right? Do you think some people, because I agree, people have mental health issues, and it is hard, you're working at it and whatnot. But do you believe some people use mental health as an excuse or a crutch to not take action or not do certain things? Like, it's like, oh, my anxiety is preventing me from doing it. Like, just an example. Do you think people do that?
Yes, people do that.
Okay,
but sometimes it is crippling. Like, you've seen me with crippling anxiety.
I get that. I'm not denying that. But what I'm asking is, do you believe that sometimes some of those people to me, the fact that you recognize it's your anxiety and whatnot means to tell me you're self-aware enough to know what the issue is. So it's a matter
So
of,
let
are
me
you willing to sit there and let it just cripple you to
so
a point
let me
that you do
tell you, right?
nothing?
Like at the end of the day, a lot of it boils down to habits and brain wiring and that kind of thing, right? And with habits, right? The more and more you do something, the easier the brain will power whatever is to continue doing that. So if you default, I can't because of my anxiety, right? Like I can't because of my anxiety. That is also like the more quote unquote like comfortable route to take.
So that's what I'm asking. Do you think people are what I am trying to get you to say is that
Oh, are you manipulating me?
sure, whatever you want to call it, what I'm trying to get you to say or admit or pronounce or denounce or whatever is that some people use mental health as a way to mask their laziness or their lack of ambition or whatever.
I think you're being too harsh.
No. Here's the thing. I
think
know
you-
there are some people, it is a thing for them.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
so deep,
But
you so
again,
anxious,
again,
you can't make a
Vernon,
decision.
yes, of course there are people
I
like
get
that,
that.
but it's a spectrum, right? It's a spectrum. Like I don't know why do you want to highlight those people? What's the point?
I don't want to highlight, I'm asking a question. I'm just
But you know that, yes, of course.
Okay.
I don't know what that did for you, but of course, yes. Yes, they are. But
I
they
just
are
want to know I'm
also
not the only
they
person
are
in that train of thought that think there are some people that just like,
yeah,
no,
but there
you
are
just
also people who have extremely high functioning anxiety, right?
yeah.
And they do the exact opposite, right? They push the anxiety down and they keep on moving until one day, right? Like everything just kind of bubbles up on them.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of bring that up and touch on some of the mental health awareness stuff as this mental health awareness month. Um, maybe kind of give you guys some inspiration if you wanted to or needed to pull some weeds out of your garden or plant some flowers in your mind garden,
My
plant some
gardening.
herbs.
I want to know who come up with that.
In your mind garden. But it's I think it's a nice visualization, right? To think of your mind as a garden.
Not denying that. I still want to see the person who came up with that. Okay? Like,
Well, go look it up.
all right. You have anything else to add before we close?
I don't.
What?
I don't.
You don't? We good? We great? We awesome? Danny, you good? Nothing to add? Nothing to say on the topic that Anushka has brought us, the rabbit hole she's brought us down?
Wow.
Nope.
Well,
All right.
you've heard it here, guys. It's been another episode of the Caribbean Millennials podcast. Be mindful. Garden your mind this week. Plant some seeds.
Water your garden.
Water your garden. All that jazz. We're out.